Houston. Houston, we have a problem. DJ Apollo has landed. I repeat, DJ Apollo has landed.
Hear me?
Greetings and salutations. You are listening to the Tales of Music and Film podcast. My name is Christian Taylor, and like I always say, I want to personally thank you for clicking on today's episode. Now, I just want to say, I hope you guys are all doing very well, and I'm very excited to finally be back, doing the show, getting the host again, because I haven't gotten to release a new episode in about a month, because, there's a whole lot of reasons why I am not able to upload as frequently as I used to. Mostly it's just because in my life right now, I live a very busy life. It doesn't leave a whole lot of room, for a whole lot of, free time for me to do some other hobbies that I like to do, like hosting this show, for example. But every now and then I get a small break where I'm able to squeeze an episode into my schedule, and that's what's happening here tonight. It's Sunday night. I worked at my job from 8 to 4 p.m. today, so I got the later hours of the afternoon, and I didn't really know what to do, so I kind of figured, hey, why not record a new episode? We were on season 12. The last episode I did was the one where I interviewed my great friend and aunt figure, Erica Matthews. I finally got to interview her about what she does at the AMP organization, which is a great episode. You guys should go check that out. She was a brilliant person. She's a brilliant person to chat with, and our discussion went way better than I was planning. We covered many amazing topics that I think you guys will be very interested to hear about, so definitely go check that episode out. For this season, I am really trying to see if I can get more guest episodes this season. So summer break is on the horizon, so for any of you who don't know, one of my 3 jobs that I do, I am a substitute teacher, and I work all the time. I sub for basically 4 different districts now. And I've worked in all kinds of schools, and it's been fun. And school's going to be out within the next week or two. And I have an episode planned, so a great friend of mine is going to be on the show. I won't say her name yet, but I have a couple of guests coming on, and we're going to be talking about how Smallville gets Superman right versus how the 2013 movie Man of Steel got Superman wrong. We are big fans of the Smallville show, and we are in agreement that show did an amazing job of portraying Clark and Superman, and we also have the same opinion that Man of Steel with Henry Cavill as Superman and Clark didn't really understand the character very well, so we're going to be going through our reasons on why we think Smallville did it better versus Man of Steel. So that's an episode I cannot wait to do. That's a topic I've been wanting to do for a long time now. My cousin / big sister Julia White, Julia White was her maiden name. She's married now, but anyway, she's gonna be on the show here. I'm trying to see if I can get an episode on here where I interview her, because again, she's a very brilliant person to chat with, and it's just she has so many amazing stories to share, and she is a author, and she has written her own books, and I got to proofread one of her newer books, The White Raven. I got to proofread that back in 2024, and it was one of the greatest, books I've ever read. It was awesome. And I want to bring her on the show and discuss her methods for how she writes a story, because I feel like that would be a very cool, topic to discuss. So I'm very excited to hopefully get that episode in for season 12 at some point. So those are just a few ideas. Another guest I want to have on here soon is a girl I know in my hometown, Allison Jones, I believe her name is. She has her own band, and we went to high school together. I'm going to try to recontact her and see if I can get an episode set up to interview her, because I'd love to hear her insight on how she formed her band, what her band's method is, and what she hopes to accomplish. I think that would make for a very exciting episode as well. So, like I said, I'm going to try to get this season to be more guest-oriented. I'm very excited for the next episodes. But for this one, just going to be you and me. This will be a very fun topic. So we were going to be, in this episode, we were going to be talking about 3 movies in one recording. So I'm not going to do, this isn't going to be one of my usual like deep analysis episodes. This one's going to be a little more laid back because I am mentally exhausted. I really don't have any notes prepared. I'm kind of just winging this one. Every now and then I don't really do a whole lot of prep work for this. I just kind of wing it. I like doing it that way. Because, you know, for any of you who don't know, I work at Walmart, and for the last month, they moved me over to being a cart pusher, and it has been getting really hot here in the state of Illinois, and being out in the sun, you know, for 7 hours, you know, it really takes a toll on me. Like, I have sensitive skin, and if I absorb too much heat, I'm a mess, you know, so a lot of times when I come home, I am both mentally and physically exhausted, you know. So I didn't really have a lot of time to put any notes together for this, so I'm just going to kind of wing it a little bit. This will be a little more laid back, you know, recording. I just want to share my viewpoint on the Blumhouse Halloween Trilogy. Now, Blumhouse is a studio that's been making quite a name for itself recently. They've been making a lot of horror-based movies for the last, like, for about 8 years now. They've been making a lot of good products, and this recording, I want to talk about their relatively new Halloween trilogy they did. It was Halloween 2018, then Halloween Kills in 2021, and then Halloween Ends in 2022. Now, these movies all came out when I was in college, and for any of you who don't know, you know, my favorite genre of all time when it comes to film or any story, it's horror. Horror is my favorite genre. I love scary stuff. The old 70s, 80s, and 90s slasher films, like, I'm a sucker for those. Like, I watch those all day long. And the Halloween franchise, it's one of my favorite franchises of all time. I love the Halloween movies. I would watch, like, Halloween's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. I love those. I did not like 5. I'm not a fan of Halloween H20 or Halloween Resurrection. Wasn't really a big fan of those. Or I haven't seen the Rob Zombie films. I really don't want to see them because I've heard nothing but negative things about them. But yeah, I love the Halloween movies. Like, the original Halloween is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a masterpiece in slasher. I love it. It has aged extremely well, and I would watch it again right now. And getting to see this trilogy, I got to see all 3 of these films like in theaters, and the best experience for me was definitely when the first one came out in 2018. So, guys, the hype. So to begin the story, we're going to be starting off with Halloween H40. A lot of people call it. It came out in 2018 during the 40th anniversary of the first movie. And so what this trilogy does, so in the Halloween franchise, we have basically 4 different timelines. You have Timeline A, which is Halloween's 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, and Resurrection. Let's see. You have Halloween Story B, where it's Halloween's 1, 2, and H20. Then you have Halloween Story C, where it's Halloween 1978, then Halloween 2018, then Kills and Ends. And then Halloween Story D is just Halloween 3, because it's not connected to the movies, it's its own thing. Then Halloween A, B, C, D, E, and then, E, Halloween Story E is the Rob Zombie movies. So theoretically, there's 5 different timelines in the Halloween franchise. So yeah, very confusing. But in this time, so in this Halloween timeline, only the first movie is canon, which a lot of people did not like, including me. I think whenever you make a Halloween movie, I think the first two films need to be canon. But for the first time in the entire franchise, we have a timeline where Halloween 2 is no longer canon, just the original movie. Halloween 2018 takes place, like I said, 40 years later after the events of the first movie, and we got to see Jamie Lee Curtis reprise her most famous role as Laurie Strode. And I remember me and Jonathan, my best friend, he's been on the show a couple of times. We went to go see Halloween 2018 in theaters, and guys, the hype for this movie for us was through the roof. We watched all the Halloweens together, basically. He's not as into them as I am, but I love him. And we had a great time. Halloween 2018, it was the best movie out of this trilogy. I mean, it really felt like the original film was back. I mean, it had everything. You had John Carpenter, the original director, making him and his two sons did the soundtracks for all three movies. And, you have Jamie Lee Curtis back, and then, Nick Castle, who played Michael in the original Halloween, he was involved in the production. He actually had a cameo in this movie as Michael Myers for one scene. It was that scene where Laurie looks up and she sees Michael standing in that two-story house looking out the window, and she shoots at him through the window. That's the one scene where Nick made a cameo as Michael Myers, which I thought was amazing. I mean, this movie had everything. And in this story, 40 years later, Laurie is now kind of an estranged alcoholic. She lost custody of her daughter, and her daughter is now married with her daughter, living in her own house, trying to forget about her mom and move forward with her life, because you find out Laurie Strode basically raised her daughter like she was Sarah Connor from Terminator. She taught her daughter how to fight, and her daughter didn't really get to have like a normal childhood. Then I guess eventually Child Services showed up and took her away from Laurie, and you find out Laurie has lived in this timeline, Laurie has lived a very troubling life. She was pretty messed up from the events of the first movie, and it affected her personal life for the last 4 decades. Apparently, she became an alcoholic. She was married, I think, 2 or 3 times. Her daughter wants nothing to do with her, so her personal life is in shambles for the most part. In the movie, it seems that she has a somewhat good relationship going with her granddaughter, and you find out that Michael was sent back to the penitentiary. He was captured at some point after the events of the first movie. And the movie involves these two, news people who go to see Michael at the penitentiary at the beginning of the film, and the guy he brought with him the original Myers mask from police evidence, because if you guys don't know, so in Halloween 2, the Halloween mask gets destroyed when Michael is set on fire. So now that film is no longer canon, they were able to bring back the OG mask, which that was a plus. It was really cool getting to see Michael back in his OG outfit again, and a stuntman named James Jude Courtney. He was the one who played Michael for pretty much. He played Michael in all 3 Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. He played Michael, and I actually met him a couple of years ago at the Flashback Weekend Horror Convention. And guys, I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to meet this guy, go meet him. He is a sweet human being. It was awesome getting to chat with him. He autographed my Halloween poster. So I actually have a Halloween poster in my bedroom. It's an 11 by 18 size poster. And it currently has 6 signatures from Halloween actors on it. I got Sandy Johnson, Alan Halworth, Dick Warlock, Nick Castle, The actress who played the nurse in Halloween's 1 and 2, who I can't remember her name, she showed up in H20 as well. And I'm actually super excited about something. So while we're talking about cast members, in Chicago this year around August, there is a convention happening called the Chicago Fan Expo. And guys, I'm telling you, they are cooking this year with the guest list. Amongst the guests, they have John Carpenter, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest directors. Like, my top 2 favorite directors of all time is Sam Raimi and John Carpenter. I think my third would have to be George Lucas, but yeah, John Carpenter and Sam Raimi they are horror legends to me. I got to meet Sam Raimi at Flashback Weekend in 24, and that was an absolute dream come true. He is, without a doubt, the greatest celebrity encounter I've ever had. He autographed my Spider-Man 2 poster, and he used a silver Sharpie, and he put Christian Be a Hero. Every time I look at that, it hits me right in the feels. What a sweet guy Sam Raimi is. I wish I could have gotten to talk to him more. He was just a great guy. And John Carpenter, I've always wanted to meet him. And if I were to have him sign something for me, I don't know what I'd have him. It would have to be my Halloween poster. Like, come on, I have to get his signature on that thing. So he's going to be there. And they have the actress, PJ Souls, who I actually wrote a letter to her a couple months ago. And she sent back my picture that I had in the envelope autographed. Very nice lady. But I would love to meet her in person. So if you don't know who PJ Souls is, she played one of Laurie's best friends. I believe her name was Linda. Remember, Linda and Nancy were Laurie's 2 best friends in the first film, when they both get slayed by Michael near the end of the movie. And, Linda was the one who kept saying totally all the time. So in the first film, there's a running joke where PJ Souls' character, Linda, says totally, like, I forget the exact amount, but people would, like, have games where they would count how many times her character says it. It's been a running joke in the movie for a long time, and, she wrote totally on the picture I sent her, which that little extra touch just really, I was so happy that she did that. So PJ Souls is going to be there too. And they also have the director for Halloween 3. He's going to be there too. So me and my buddies, so Brady, who he's been on the show before, he was involved with the recording when we covered Deadpool and Wolverine. Him and I were talking about getting our friends together to head up to Chicago later this year in August. I think we're going to most likely go to the Fan Expo this year, which I would be okay with that. I was hoping potentially we could go to Flashback Weekend instead, because this year, it also happens in August. This year, the guest list is amazing. They have actors from Halloween 2, because it's 45 years old this year. And they got 3 actors from the original Scream, because it's celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. So both conventions have amazing guest lists. So either one we go to, I'll be extremely happy. So yeah, I love going to conventions. I love getting to meet horror actors. It's one of my favorite things to do. It is kind of funny, it's like in the horror community, whenever you meet, like, actors who star in horror movies, they're like the sweetest people ever. That's been my experience. I've met actors from Christine, Halloween, The Thing, and it's like they were all just the sweetest people imaginable. They weren't like all these higher up Hollywood actors where they're so, stuck up being like, oh, you're not worth my time. I mean, these people at these conventions who starred in these, like, B movies, they're so down to earth, and it's like they treat their fans with the utmost respect. I love it. It's amazing. But yeah, Halloween 2018, the story is it was great. It definitely had a great story. It was kind of like, a retelling of H20 because they definitely borrowed some elements. Because in H20, Laurie is a school teacher and she's an alcoholic in that movie too. And in that timeline, she has a son. And it gets even more confusing because in the first timeline that has Halloween's 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, she has a daughter, and she dies in Halloween 6, and then, like, Jamie Lee Curtis didn't want to come back for Halloween 4, so they killed off Laurie Strode in between Halloweens 2 and 4, which I thought was sad, but having her daughter as the main character in 4 was definitely it was a nice change. Like, in my opinion, I think the perfect Halloween trilogy, in my eyes, is Halloween's 1, 2, and 4. That's a perfect trilogy, because if you do it that way, the trilogy ends the way it started, where it's like, you think the cycle's been broken, but it got reset, you know? It's a very crazy ending, you know? I like it. But going back to Halloween 2018, so Michael eventually breaks out. So what happens is the guy who's put in charge of looking after him, because obviously Loomis, who is Michael's psychiatrist, I guess, he passed away, obviously, because he was like in his 50s during the events of the first movie. So yeah, he passed away during the 40 years between 78 and 2018, and Michael's new psychiatrist, we later find out in 2018 that he released Michael and it caused the bus to crash because they were transferring inmates to another asylum. That's the common theme in this franchise, is where Michael is being transported to a different asylum and he breaks out. That's what they did in Halloween 4. But he breaks out, and then he's able to track down the two news people, and he gets his outfit back, and he goes back to Haddonfield on Halloween night. And my favorite scene in the entire movie is the montage where Michael is walking the streets of Haddonfield, and you see all the kids running around in their costumes and everything, and you have the brand new Halloween soundtrack playing by John Carpenter and his sons, who are brilliant at making just incredible soundtracks for these films. Like, I own the 2018 movie soundtrack, and dude, that soundtrack never fails to hype me up for work. Like, it helps get me in the mood. Just that long shot of Michael going up to that porch and seeing that lady on the phone, and he walks back down the stairs. And if you look at the right-hand window, you can see him walking down the house into the backyard. Then the lady walks to the front window to look outside. Then you see Michael enter the living room through the back, and he kills her. Dude, that long shot, just perfection. Amazing movie making in this. Then eventually, while he's going through the town, you know, causing mayhem and everything, Laurie finds out, and she tries to go after him, and eventually he attacks Laurie's granddaughter as well. And then we get to the ending set piece where Michael was lured back to Laurie's house out in the country, and that's where we have the final battle. And it's Laurie, her daughter, and granddaughter. It's the three of them versus Michael. And the fight at the very end was absolutely brutal. I mean, Michael takes significant damage during this battle. Like, there's this brilliant scene where Laurie's trying to keep the front door shut, and then Michael punches his hand through the glass and starts choking Laurie. Then she's able to grab her shotgun, and she blew off, you know, 3 of his fingers off his hand. And then near the end of the movie, where he finds out where they're hiding in the basement, Laurie's daughter managed to fool Michael into thinking that they were going to surrender, and then she was able to shoot him in the neck. He falls downstairs into the basement. Laurie, her daughter, and granddaughter run out of the basement, and they seal the doors shut. Then Laurie sets the house on fire, and they escape. And then the movie ends with them, you know, getting a ride in a truck from somebody because they had to get Laurie to the hospital because Michael stabbed her in the stomach. and that's the end of 2018. So apparently, now I don't know much about the filmmaking of 2018, but it seems that originally Blumhouse was going to have it be a one and done kind of thing. Apparently somewhere you can find the original ending they had planned. I haven't watched it yet, but apparently they had filmed a different ending for this, because originally, like I said, it was going to be a one and done. But I think this movie did so well, Blumhouse was like, hey, let's do a trilogy instead. But we're going to find out. I don't think the trilogy was a good idea, but we'll get to that. Part of me thinks that this should have just been a one and done deal, I feel like, but we'll get more into that. But going back to how I was saying, the movie retcons Halloween 2. Like, there's a scene where Laurie's granddaughter, Allison's her name, she's walking to school with her two friends, just like Laurie does in the original. And they're talking about Michael Myers, and one of her friends says, hey, I heard they're siblings. Then Allison's like, no, that's just a rumor that somebody made up. So again, that little bit of dialogue, it erases Halloween 2, because you find out in Halloween 2 that Laurie and Michael are brother and sister. And apparently, even John Carpenter himself hated the idea, but it's like, John Carpenter never wanted to make sequels to Halloween. Like, he did not want to do it at all. He wanted Halloween to be a one and done thing, but he was basically kind of forced into writing the script for Halloween 2. He didn't direct it. He did write the script, however, and he literally admitted in an interview that he drank heavily when he was making the script for Halloween 2. He said what got him through writing that script was a crap ton of Budweiser. It's just kind of like, which I think is pretty funny. But I guys, I gotta be honest, I love Halloween 2. I thought it was a great sequel. There's only a couple of things about it I didn't like. I think in Halloween 2, it got really silly and over the top at certain points. Some point I will review the other Halloween films, so I'll have to save that for later. But Halloween 2 does get silly at some points. The kills do kind of feel like they're over the top and a little ridiculous at some point. And the Myers mask that they used for that movie, gotta be honest, it looked real goofy in some parts, but really, it was just small things like that. Other than that, I thought it was a great sequel, and I liked the idea that Laurie and him are siblings. I mean, that kind of gives a reason, why he went after her in the first film. I mean, Michael was stalking her, multiple times throughout the movie, and it's like, what was the reason? And if Halloween were to be a one and done, I guess Michael just happened to have picked her as his next victim. But I think it makes more sense why he immediately starts going after her in the first movie, because he recognizes her. Because if you guys don't know, so in the original Halloween, Michael's very first kill was his big sister, Judith. He killed her on Halloween night in 1963 when he was just a little boy. And he was sent to the penitentiary after that. And Judith Myers was her name, and she was played by Sandy Johnson, who I met in 2021 at Flashback. And then you find out he had another sister that was sent, after what happened, the parents, I guess, couldn't take, their daughter being killed, then their son being sent to the penitentiary, so they sent Laurie to go live with the Strode family, and I think it was a great plot twist in Halloween 2 when Laurie realizes that Michael's her brother, so it made sense. That's why he automatically started going after her. I thought that was a great twist, and it made sense. He's trying to kill his other sister, I thought it made perfect sense, to tell you the truth. I didn't think it was a bad idea. I really don't. A lot of people seen it then. That was a stupid thing to do. But I feel like us fans, like Quentin Tarantino said it was a stupid idea to have them be siblings. I'm like, why? What's wrong with that? I thought that was a great idea. But that's one of the things about 2018 that I think was silly. They should have kept Halloween 2 canon. That should be an automatic thing. I feel like anytime you make a sequel from now on, Halloween's 1 and 2 need to be canon for things to make sense. Them, cutting out 2, that I think was a mistake in my view. We did get the OG mask back, but we lost a lot of story elements because of that. And the only other complaints I have about 2018 was that we didn't get to know the new cast for very long. You know what I mean? Like Laurie, like Allison, Laurie's granddaughter. We don't see her friends very much. So whenever her friends are killed in this, it doesn't really. It's like in the original Halloween, we got some good scenes with Laurie and her friends, so we got an idea of what their friendship was like. I don't know. I feel like in 2018, we didn't get, Laurie didn't get to be with, Allison didn't get enough screen time with her friends, so it's like, whenever her friends are killed, I didn't really care that much, it just didn't feel like there was enough screen time with them. But that's right. That's really one of the only things I didn't like about the movie. But other than that, I thought it was great. It captured the feeling of the original movie perfectly. I thought it was great. I really do. I haven't watched it in a long time. I need to rewatch it. And so now we are going to segue into Halloween Kills. And this is where things start to take a turn. So Halloween Kills, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. There's a lot of it I do like, but there's an equal amount of stuff in it I don't like. So this movie's a hit and miss with me sometimes. It has good. It has a lot of good, but also a lot of bad. Halloween Ends was just all bad, but we'll get there. You see, the main problem that I had with this trilogy as a whole, it doesn't feel like it was planned very well. This trilogy was just like the new Star Wars trilogy by Disney, where I just don't think they did a good enough job planning these movies out, because Kills and Ends, it just didn't feel like they were going anywhere. The first movie felt like a good sequel. Like, it felt really good planned out, it was actually good. But then Kills and Ends, they felt like they were just money grabs. They just felt like they were just there to make money. They didn't feel like good sequels. Like, Kills had a lot of good, but man, Ends was just horrible. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to clarify better as we continue. But now we're going to segue into Halloween Kills. Now, originally, this movie was supposed to come out in 2020, but then COVID happened, so they had to push it a year. So I had to wait, 3 years, 2019, 2020, 2021, to finally see Halloween Kills. And I believe I saw it 2 times in theaters. And gotta be honest, I liked it for the most part, but it definitely could have been better. There was a lot of potential with this movie. Going into it, there were so many things I was really excited to see. Like, I was over the moon excited when I found out that they were bringing back more original actors from the original Halloween. Like, they brought back, let's see here, 3 more actors from the original Halloween were brought back for this one, and getting to see them in this was, as a Halloween lover like me, like, the hype was through the roof. Yeah, Kyle Richards, who played who played Lindsay. She was one of the kids that Laurie was babysitting in the original. She was babysitting Lindsay and Tommy Doyle on Halloween night, and we only see them in the first movie, and we never see them again. Well, I do take it back. We do see Tommy does come back in Halloween 6. And Halloween 6 is titled The Curse of Michael Myers. Now, when I was a teenager, I wasn't really a big fan of Halloween 6, but recently I found a new love for it. I actually think it wasn't that bad. There were some things about it I didn't like, how in that timeline they killed off Laurie's daughter, and I literally at the very beginning of the movie, and it's just like it. Literally within the first 3 minutes of Halloween 6, it made Halloween's 4 and 5 completely pointless. So in timeline A, I call it, where you have Halloween's 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, those 5 films. In Halloween 4, the main character is Laurie's daughter, Jamie Lloyd is her name. So you find out but after Halloween's 1 and 2, Laurie eventually got married, gave birth to her daughter, but her and her husband were killed in a car accident. So the Lloyd family adopted her daughter, Jamie, and brought them into their family. And Michael goes after Jamie in Halloween's 4 and 5. In Halloween 6, there's a time jump where Jamie is an adult now, and she dies. She literally is killed within the first 5 minutes of Halloween 6. It's like, really? I thought that was so dumb. It's like, you guys remember, I did cover Halloween 5 already, so if you want to go check that out. But yeah, Halloween 5, I think, was an absolute disaster. And the first, 10 minutes of Halloween 6 was a disaster. But the cast they introduced in that movie, I actually really liked them a lot. And Paul Rudd, as an adult Tommy Lloyd, I thought he did an excellent job. So it was cool. So yeah, we do see Tommy again in Halloween 6. But I have started to like 6 more. It's crazy. That movie's 30 years old this year, so I'm actually kind of curious if it'll return to theaters. I would go see it in theaters given the chance. But like I said, so going back to the original Halloween, so Tommy and Lindsay, we never see them again after the first film. The last time we see them, they run out of the house after Laurie tells them to, because Michael's attacking her. And to have, the original actress come back to play Lindsay again was amazing. That made me so happy. It was just amazing fan service, to say the least. And in this movie, we do get Tommy in this movie as well, but this time he was played by Anthony Michael Hall, which you all recognize. He was one of the Breakfast Club members. He was the one who wrote the letter at the end of the movie. I believe he was called the nerd of the group. You had the queen, the nerd, the jockey, the quiet one or something. The basket case, sorry. But anyway, I got to meet Anthony Michael Hall at the Chicago C2E2 convention last year, and he autographed my Halloween Kills poster. He wrote his quote, "Evil dies tonight," on there, and the "Evil dies tonight," it's basically a meme now in the horror community, because I'm pretty sure he says that 30 times throughout the screen time for Halloween Kills, and it got annoying, really, really fast. But we'll get to that here in a minute. But let's see. Another character that comes back in this movie, so let's see her. Her name was... So remember how I said I met the nurse? Oh, Nancy Steffens is her name. So she played... Marion Chambers. So she is the nurse that is riding in the car. She's the one driving Loomis to the penitentiary near the start of the original Halloween. And then we see her again towards the end of Halloween 2. Then she makes an appearance at the beginning of Halloween H20. And in Halloween H20, she dies within the first 5 minutes, which I thought was completely stupid, And so to have her back for Kills, I was actually surprised. I was shocked that they brought her back. I met her as well. She signed my Halloween poster as well. She was a very nice lady to chat with as well. And for all you, so if you guys ever get a chance to meet her at conventions, just a heads up. I don't know why, but apparently, if you have a cosplay that involves a firearm, she will tell you to put the firearm away. Like, she will not take a photo with you if you have a firearm with you. When I got my picture with her, I was dressed up in my McCready costume from The Thing, and she told me to put my shotgun prop down. Like, she refused to take a photo with it. I guess she's anti-gun. I don't know, but yeah, she said I had to put down the shotgun. I was like, oh, okay then. I just thought that was kind of strange, but nonetheless, she was a very nice person to chat with. And she signed my poster and everything. But yeah, she was a very cool person. So if you ever get a chance to meet her, definitely do so. Just know, if you have a gun prop, she will probably ask you to put it away, if you want to get a photo with her. But to see her back in Halloween Kills was very cool too. But unfortunately, they did the same thing to her in this film as they did in H20. But I'll get more into that here in a minute. And one last person who returned in this movie was the original police officer from Halloween's 1 and 2. And let me see here. I always forget this actor's name. Oh yeah, Charles Cyphers is his name. He played Sheriff Lee, I believe his name was. And we see him, he's in Halloween 1 a lot, but he's only in Halloween 2 for the first 5 or 10 minutes. And then we never see him again for the rest of the franchise. You find out in Halloween 4 that he retired and he was replaced with someone else. So to see him back, I was like, oh wow. The minute his cameo showed up, I was like, oh wow, there he is. And unfortunately and sadly, he has since passed away, which is really sad. But as happy as I was to see all these old characters back, Kills, the movie did nothing with any of them. I'm not kidding you. Nancy, the nurse, I'm not kidding you. We see her for a few scenes, and then she's killed, halfway through the film in the dumbest way imaginable. Her and the others are in a car, driving through the streets of Haddonfield, trying to look for Michael, and they find him. He attacks the car. Nancy opens the door, pulls her revolver out, and says, hey, Michael, this is for Dr. Loomis. Clink. She forgot to load her gun. And then Michael crawls into the car and stabs her 30 times and kills her. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why did you even bother bringing her back? She had literally 2 scenes and then she dies. It was literally just like H20 all over again. It's why did you even bother bringing her back? That's 2 times now where they randomly brought her back just to kill her off for shock value. I'm like, are you kidding me? I really thought they were going to give her something to do in this movie. Nope. And Lindsay, for example, they gave her nothing to do in this either. She does nothing. She's in that car with the others. They all get slaughtered one by one. She manages to escape. She runs in the woods, hides behind a tree, and waits for Michael to leave. We don't see her again for the rest of the movie. It's again, why did you even bother bringing her back? It really felt like they did that just for nostalgia. It's they brought all these OG characters back, most of them with the original actor from the original film, and they gave them nothing to do. Sheriff Lee, he has 1 cameo in this movie. Then he shows up at the very end. Guess what happens? He's killed instantly. Again, they brought all these characters back just to quickly kill them off. It's why? Again, what was the point? And Tommy, so Tommy Doyle, he's a main character in this. And the guy, the way they wrote Tommy in this, the guy's an idiot. Somebody needs to go back through that movie and keep a score on how many people die in this movie because of his stupid decisions. Like, he leads a mob of Haddonfield residents around the city trying to find Michael. And it's like, we need to make a drinking game where it's like, every time he says evil dies tonight, take a shot. I guarantee you, you will be crap-faced drunk by the time you get to the halfway point in the movie. It's just like, Tommy was so stupid in this. He got so many people killed. I think he did more damage in this movie than Michael. It's like, why? They made him an idiot. It's like, why would you do that? This is a legacy character. Shouldn't you have, like, written him to be, smart and confident? Like, he knows how dangerous Michael is. It's like, why did they write him like this? And again, he's instantly killed off near the end of the movie. It's like, this whole movie, it was just like... And the other thing you need to keep in mind about this, Laurie is in a hospital bed the entire movie because of her stab wound she got from Michael. So literally for like 95% of the movie, she's in her hospital bed, just chilling out, not really doing anything whatsoever plot-wise. It's like they gave the main character, Laurie, basically nothing to do. And Tommy kind of takes over as the lead in this film, and it wasn't that great, gotta be honest. He didn't do good. And it's like, he sends all these people, like, there's literally a scene, I'm not kidding you, there is like a 20-minute scene in this where they find one of the inmates that escaped the bus from the first movie, and Tommy's like, oh, that has to be Michael. And then they chase this poor old guy to the very top of the hospital building, and he just jumps off the roof and commits suicide. And I'm not kidding you, this chase scene goes on for what felt like half an hour. Like, Halloween Kills, there was so much filler in this that it felt like it wasn't contributing to the story in any kind of way. Like, there's another scene in this film where Michael randomly kills, like, this old couple in their house, and then he decides to pick up all the sharp kitchen knives, and he starts stabbing them in the back of the dead body of the husband. He just keeps picking knives up and stabbing him in the back with them. It's like, what's the point? Why is he doing this? It's like, why are you guys not telling a story here? Like, I don't get it. And then I will say this, one of the only good parts about Kills was the opening. So the movie opens up with a flashback scene where in the first movie, there was another new character that they introduced. It was a police officer. And he was great in the first movie, but then he was god-awful in the sequels. So Will Patton plays Deputy Frank, I believe is, his character's name is Frank. And so you find out, so Frank's the main character in Halloween 2018. Like, halfway through the movie, he hits Michael with his police car. He gets out, gets ready to shoot him. And Michael's psychiatrist, the new guy, stabs him in the neck because he doesn't want him to kill Michael. And then we don't see him again. Like, I feel like in the original script, he dies. Because, I'm not kidding you, like, this guy stabs Frank, the police officer, in the neck with a syringe. And then he runs over his body with the police vehicle. So you're like, oh, okay, he's definitely dead. Then I'm not kidding you. In the flashback scene, we see Frank. He was there on Halloween night in 1978, and we get a flashback scene of him and his partner chasing Michael down a alleyway in Haddonfield, and they chase him back to the Myers house, and they chase him into the house. They go upstairs trying to look for him. Michael attacks his partner, and then Frank tries to shoot Michael, but he shoots his partner in the neck because Michael was using his partner as like a human shield. And his partner falls on the ground and dies, and then Michael walks back downstairs, and then all the cops show up and surround him. And then we get this guy with prosthetic makeup on to look like Loomis runs up and they capture Michael. And then Frank's just on the ground bawling because he accidentally killed his partner. And I'm just sitting here like, what does this have to do with the story? I don't get it. Like, I'm not kidding you. In Halloween Ends, that entire storyline was just completely dropped. And it just pretends it never happened. It's like, again, what was the point of that? The opening scene's amazing, but like that whole scene of Frank killing his partner, it's like, what does that have to do with the story in any kind of way? Like, what? Was it trying to say that like even the good guys have blood on their hands? Like, I failed to see the meaning behind that scene, other than it was pointless and it was just there for filler. I don't get it. And it's like, and I'm not kidding you. After the flashback scene is done, we see Frank on the ground. He's still alive, and Allison's ex-boyfriend shows up and helps get him to the hospital. Like, Frank was clearly killed in the 2018 film, but then Kills just shows up and tries to retcon it, and it doesn't make any sense. The guy was stabbed in the neck. He would have bled out in minutes. And he got ran over by his police cruiser. It's like, that guy is dead. How the hell is he still alive? You know, it's just like, again, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I don't understand why they even bothered bringing him back for this. Again, they gave him nothing to do. Once he gets back to the hospital, he lays in a hospital bed for the rest of the movie. And then in Halloween Ends, Frank has like 2 scenes and that's it. It's like, what was the point of his character in this trilogy? He does nothing to help. Like, almost ever. It's just like, dude, it's just, oh my gosh. There is so much potential with these characters. It's like the writers didn't know what to do with any of them. It's like... It's just, oh my gosh. Guys, there's one thing that just makes me angry is whenever I see wasted potential when watching a movie. There are so many cool things that they could have did, you know, in this movie. It's like, I remember reading, like, fan theories about what was going to happen. Our theories were better than what we got. You know, it's just like, they should just let us fans write the script for the sequels. And it's like, at the end of the movie, you know, it's like, Allison and her boyfriend team up to try to take down Michael, and then Allison's boyfriend gets killed pretty quickly, and then Allison's leg gets broken, and then her mom shows up, and her mom manages to pull off Michael's mask, and Michael chases her through Haddonfield back to the house. And then, I'm not kidding you, this movie ends where Michael gets away yet again, and then for some reason, so just to clarify, so Laurie's daughter, I need to look her name up. I can't remember her daughter's name. Give me a minute. Her daughter's name is Karen, played by Judy Greer, I believe her name is. And Karen, for some reason, she randomly goes into the mine. I'm not kidding you. Like, so the movie ends with Tommy and a lot of Haddonfield residents attacking Michael, and then they all just stand around like idiots. Michael gets up and then literally starts slaughtering the mob, basically, and then Tommy gets killed. The scene is so stupid. It's like you have like 30 plus people around Michael, and instead of all of them ganging up on him at the same time, like, guys, you need to remember, Michael is like in his mid-60s. This man is like 65 years old. You know, it's like Tommy leads a mob of residents to take him down, and the mob members, they take turns. And then they just stand there like morons, watching Michael get up on his feet, and then Michael just goes to town on all of them. He bashes Tommy's head in with a bat. He stabs the police officer character from the first film. He slaughters everybody. It's like, why is everybody just standing around and watching and not, clubbing him. There's 30 of you and one of him. Like, well, they can't do that because we gotta stretch this story out for 3 movies. It's so stupid. And while this is going on, Karen's like, you know what? I want to go upstairs into Michael's childhood bedroom. She walks in there, looks out the window. Again, you're like, why did she go in the house? Why did she go upstairs? Why is she randomly looking out the window? What's the point? We'll never know. Michael randomly pops up behind her and stabs her multiple times and kills her. Bada bing, bada boom. Laurie's daughter is now dead. And then if you watch the extended cut of kills, Laurie manages to get up on her feet out of her bed in the hospital. She picks up the phone to call Karen, and she hears Michael's breathing through the phone, and that's when she realizes that Karen's dead. And then it ends with her picking up the knife that Allison stole from Michael at the end of the first movie. And she's walking down the hallway of the hospital with this look in her eye of, I am going to kill you, Michael. And then it cuts. Setting up, Halloween Ends. Now that was a cool shot. I did like that shot. But, guys, Halloween Kills, it was 90% filler. There were some good moments, like I said, but Kills, it's a bad movie. It's just, there's no other way to put it. Kills, it's like they had no idea where to go with the story. And it's like, are you serious? You had all the elements. You had OG characters back. You had John Carpenter making the soundtrack. Everything was there. How do you mess that up? Again, originally, it was going to be a one and done. 2018 was supposed to be a one and done. Gotta be honest, part of me wishes that they had stuck to that. If it was going to be a trilogy, they should have, planned it out way in advance. Like, when you make a trilogy or a series of films that are connected, you need to plan them out. That's one of the reasons, one of the prime examples is Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Each movie came out a year apart from one another, 2001, 2002, 2003. And is one of the most perfect trilogies of all time. And one of the main reasons for that is because of how planned in advance this was. I mean, they spent years getting the story written. I'm pretty sure all 3 films were ready to go by the time they started filming Fellowship of the Ring. It's like they planned it out. They had everything planned. That's one of the key things when you're making a long-term story where it's going to be multiple films. You need to plan them out. That, in my opinion, was one of the main reasons why the new Star Wars trilogy by Disney was so awful, was because they had no idea where to take the story. They should have had all 3 films ready, planned out, before Force Awakens even started filming. And they should have had the same guy do all 3 of them. I think the whole idea they had where each movie was going to be done by a different director, I think that was a terrible idea. Because none of the films felt connected. That was another problem I had. But with the Halloween trilogy, it just felt like in the sequels, they had no idea where to go. You could tell that originally it was going to be a one and done because 2018 was great. It felt really smooth, it was a good story. Kills and Ends, you watch those, you're like, what is happening? These movies feel like we're not... it's going in every other direction, it just feels like both these films, it's just filler stuff. Just Michael killing random people doing things. It's like, what's happening plot-wise, It just didn't feel really planned out. And it gets worse. Because now we're going to be getting into Halloween Ends, which is one of the worst Halloween films in the whole franchise. In my opinion, the worst Halloween films is Halloween Kills, Halloween 5, and Halloween Resurrection. Those movies are awful. They are terrible. I would put Resurrection at number 1. I think Halloween 5 would be second place, and then Halloween Ends is third. Those are the top 3 worst Halloween films, in my opinion. They are terrible. Halloween Ends, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, this thing, I didn't think it was possible for them to make the story worse. But my God, it sure did feel like they took that as a challenge, or it's like, how complicated and messy can we make this story? They did it with flying colors, that's for sure. Now, from what I understand, Halloween Ends was very affected by COVID because apparently I read somewhere that they were going to have all 3 movies take place on the same night, Halloween 2018. But then COVID apparently screwed everything up. So what does Halloween Ends do? There's a 4-year time jump, and you're like, why? Why did there have to be a time jump? I get COVID happened, and you guys had to wait a couple of years to film Ends. But I mean, like, Allison and Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis and the actress who played Allison, like, they didn't age one bit. They looked exactly the same. It's like, why didn't you guys have Ends take place on Halloween night? Why would you do a 4-year time jump? Like, kills Ends with Laurie going down the hallway and she's like on a mission to go kill Michael. Then it's like, oh, sorry, Michael. On second thought, it's like they retconned it. It's like they're like, oh, actually, Michael, on second thought, I'm going to forget about you. I'm going to go back to living my normal life. Goodbye. Like, Halloween Ends, it doesn't even feel like it. If this movie doesn't feel like it was connected to Kills or 2018 in any kind of way. Because there's a 4-year time jump, and then Laurie's now happy for some reason. It's like her daughter's death didn't do anything to her. Like, she's happy. She's smiling. Allison went to college. She works at the hospital now. Everybody's just happy. Everybody's just pretending, that, like, all the stuff that went down in the first films, in the first 2 movies, didn't matter that much. It's like, Allison lost both her parents and her friends. And she's just acting like none of that happened. And Laurie's happy sunshine, making jokes, acting like she didn't lose her daughter in Halloween Kills. I thought this movie was going to be her tracking him down and then having their final battle together and finally ending this. Because Jamie's done now. She literally signed a contract saying, I am never playing Laurie Strode again. It's like, this was it. And they dropped the ball, man. Like, they screwed this up so bad. I don't get it. So there's a 4-year time jump. Laurie has her life figured out now. Allison's happy. And again, it kind of makes you wonder, why even bother making this then? What's the point? If they don't care about Michael, then it's like, what's the point? So, like, they're not even thinking about Michael anymore. And you want to know where Michael was for 4 years? He crawled, apparently, he was hiding out in the Haddonfield sewer system for 4 years. And you're telling me none of the cops ever thought to look there? 4 years, dude. And you're telling me not once did they think, have we checked the sewers? It's ridiculous. And then for some reason in this movie, it's like they crippled Michael big time. They, quote, nerfed him. In Halloween 2018 and Kills, even though he was way older, he was still a very dangerous threat. Then for some reason, in this movie, they make him this weak old man. He's slow, isn't moving very fast. You're like, what? Did he just go all, like, he was still, very energetic and strong in the first 2 films. Why all of a sudden, 4 years later, I can't move as fast as I used to. It's like, what? Again, what is going on? And then Halloween Ends, they decide to introduce a brand new character that I don't understand like what his service was to this story or why he's even here. It's like we waited a year to see Laurie come back, to fight Michael for the last time, but then the film's like, yeah, we're gonna take a detour from Laurie in this one again, and we're gonna introduce this brand new character. His name is Corey Cunningham, and he's gonna be a main character in this, and it's just like, why would you introduce this character in the third film? The plot was already established in the first two films. What's going on, and then ends again. Even worse. It's like they had no idea what to do. It's like, hey, was introduced this random new character into this. So this movie. So you find out during the 4-year time jump. On Halloween night in like 2021 or something, Corey was in high school babysitting this rich family's son. Well, the couple was out at like a Halloween party or something. And excuse me, and while Corey is babysitting this boy, he's like, I don't know, 10, 12 years old or something, a preteen, and the kid was being a real nasty piece of work towards Corey. And he locks Corey in the attic on like the third floor of the house, and Corey's trying to break out of the attic, and like he kicks the door open right as the boy was getting ready to open it. When he kicks the door open, it hits the boy. He goes over the railing and falls, 3 stories in his mansion, all the way down to the first floor, right, like literally right as the parents are walking into the house. Like, what are the odds? And he dies instantly. And then he gets sent to prison. And then when we cut to Laurie is so he gets released from. So during the 4-year time jump, he gets sent to jail because of it. And then Corey is released from prison, walks back to Haddonfield. He's at a gas station where these group of high schoolers are bullying him. And then Laurie scares them off. And then she teams up with Corey to put a knife in the teenager's like vehicle's tires or whatever. And Laurie takes him back to her house, and then he meets Allison at some point, and Allison and him fall for each other the minute they see each other. And he got injured, so he meets Allison at the hospital where she's working, and they hit off pretty quickly. They go to a Halloween party together, like almost at the halfway point in the film, then a romance starts out between them. And then over the course of the film, Corey, for some reason, starts to go evil. The movie never really explains why. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I have only seen this movie once in the theater, and I just, for the life of me, cannot bring myself to watch this again. So I'm not kidding you. There's literally a scene where Corey finds out where Michael lives in the sewer system by accident. There's literally a scene. It is so ridiculous. I'm not even sure how to explain this to you. Corey climbs into the sewer. Michael is just standing there in the sewer system, and then Corey starts fighting him. He tackles him on the ground, and then he steals Michael's mask, and then Michael just kind of sits there, oh, I guess you can have the mask, man. It's just like, the Michael in 18 and Halloween Kills would have wiped the floor with Corey. It's like, Corey just steals his mask and walks away, and then he goes to this mansion where one of Allison's hospital co-workers lives at, and he kills him. And at this point, you're like, what's going on? I don't know, people. I don't know. And then a little later on in the film, Corey makes his own mask, and then Michael teams up with him, and they start killing more people together. And then near the end of the film, Michael kills Corey, making the whole romance with him and Allison like completely pointless. And then after this happens, then Laurie and Michael have, their final battle together. And, oh yeah, by the way, y'all remember Officer Frank from the first two films? The guy literally shows up for 2 scenes in this. Towards the beginning, then we randomly see him at the end. It's like, what was the whole side plot of him killing his partner? It's like, what was the point of that? It's never brought up or addressed ever again. He wasn't involved in the final battle in any kind of way. And Laurie and Michael have their final battle in Laurie's new house. And they dressed Laurie up on how she looked at the end of the first movie, wearing the blue jeans with the light blue button shirt tucked in. And they had the final battle. I'm not kidding you. It lasts like maybe 5 minutes. Laurie pins him to a table, puts knives in both his hands, literally sticking him to the table, and then she starts going on this monologue, and she cuts his throat open, cuts his wrists open, and then she just watches him bleed out on the kitchen table, and then her and the Haddonfield residents, like this mob of people, they carry Michael's body to the junkyard, and they lay him in the car crusher, and they crush his body up. And then it just cuts to Laurie chilling on her porch with Frank. He shows up, the visitor, and they sit on the porch, and then we see Allison packs her stuff up and leaves Haddonfield forever. Like, this poor girl, I mean, it's like, dude, Allison was thrown to the wolves this trilogy. Allison lost everything. Both her parents, all of her friends, and 2 different boyfriends died over the course of these 3 films. And her story ends with her driving off, leaving Haddonfield completely alone. It's like, she just randomly leaves. She wasn't involved in the final battle. They gave her nothing to do. Like, after the halfway point in the picture, she literally just disappears. They gave her nothing to do in this. She was an important character in the first 2 movies. Then in this, they gave her nothing to do. Oh yeah, by the way, remember Lindsay? She had 1 scene in this. I'm not even kidding you. She showed up for 1 scene with her, Laurie, and Allison talking in the kitchen. And that's it. Why was she even in this? Why? Couldn't tell you. So Allison drives off alone. Laurie has a conversation with Frank on her porch. Then the last shot we see is Michael's mask sitting on the kitchen table. And then it cuts to black. And then the song Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. That song played in the first Halloween on Nancy's radio when they're driving to the houses where Laurie needs to babysit Lindsay and Tommy at. And great song, but it's so sad that this incredible song was used in this god-awful movie. And that's the ending. Guys, to say that I was disappointed with Halloween Ends was an extreme understatement. This movie did not feel connected at all with the first 2 films. What a very weak ending. There was so much filler in this. So many things that happened that don't make any sense. Corey was a horribly written character that had no reason to exist in any kind of way. I don't understand. Well, I still to this day cannot tell you what was the point of his character. I don't get it. I don't. Like, the only good thing this movie had going was that it had an amazing soundtrack. That's the only good thing about it. This movie was so disappointing. It's really bad. Like, it's very well accepted in the Halloween community that this is one of the worst Halloween sequels in its history. And that's really disappointing, because I had a lot of hype for Kills and Ends, and they were so disappointing. It was Star Wars The Last Jedi and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker all over again. Trilogies, for some reason today, it's like film companies have forgotten how to make good trilogies. It's a constant. I've seen this pattern play out like 3 different times now over the last decade. The pattern that I've seen now, with a lot of these trilogies, it's like the first film starts the trilogy off very strong. The second movie has like a 50-50 where it's like it has some good parts but a lot of bad. And then the third movie just completely loses the plot, goes off the rails, and has no idea where to go story-wise, and it has no idea how to end it. That's like the pattern that I've seen play out multiple times now with trilogies. I mean, it's like, is it really that hard to make a good trilogy? I don't think so. I mean, as long as you plan it out, I don't think it should be that difficult, you know? Especially with Halloween. That should have been easy, I feel like, you know? Now, I do need to be honest, Halloween Ends did have some creative kills in this. Like, so Corey kills his parents in this movie. There's a scene where he puts a blowtorch in his dad's mouth and burns his head in from the inside. Dude, that death may take the cake for one of the most violent deaths in the Halloween franchise. So that death, like, dude, I had to look away. Like, that was brutal, like, all capitalized, you know. And there's another scene where Corey kills the Haddonfield DJ, and you see like fragments of his head land on a record while it's playing on the radio, and you hear the bumps of the needle hitting the skin fragments. Like, that was another, like, oof, that was violent, you know, just... So, yeah, there were some very creative kills in this, and I did kind of like the romance between Allison and Corey. It's just kind of like... It just didn't feel like it went anywhere. I would have liked the film better had Corey been allowed to live and redeem himself, and then him and Allison could have driven off together to go start a new life somewhere. I would have preferred that, but Allison's ending was... in the long run, extremely sad. She lost everything in her life, and now she drives off completely alone. It's like, I just wanted to give that poor girl a hug. You know, it's just like, my God, her character was chewed up and spit out, you know, over the course of the 3 movies. She got tortured, beaten, and all of her loved ones were killed, except for her grandmother. You know, it's just, my gosh, that poor woman, you know, that poor young girl. I just think Kills and Ends needed some serious rewrites. It just felt, both the films just felt extremely wasted, you know. And I don't want to keep repeating myself, you know, but man, it breaks my heart that things went the way it did. You know, it's like when I look back at like the Star Wars trilogy, the Halloween trilogy, you know, it's just, I just wish things could have been different. You know, I wish that we could have had a good, strong story, you know. I think about that a lot. I just wish things could have been different. But, you know, for me, we got 2018. It's a great movie, you know, so it wasn't all bad. You know, that was the best movie for me out of the trilogy. Getting to see that was... I have a list that I do where I add, like highlights of my life. And getting to see Halloween 2018 in theaters, like, that's on my list of highlights. Like, that, getting to see that movie in theaters with Jonathan, my best friend, that was fun. I'll never forget that. So it wasn't all bad in the end. But man, Kills and Ends was extremely disappointing. And I like I said, I just wish that I just wish the sequels could have been written better, you know? But as of right now, it's kind of like the Halloween franchise is it's in a very, like, limbo period. We haven't had a new Halloween movie since Ends, and that was, you know, 4 years ago almost. And to me personally, I think what they need to do is, I think they need to do something different. I think we need to move on from Michael. Now, personally, I think what would be a big moneymaker for the franchise is that they need to make a proper sequel to Halloween 4. Because, so for any of you who don't know, Halloween 4 ends with Michael dying. They actually kill him at the end of it. And Laurie's daughter, Jamie, she becomes the new killer at the end of the film. She's wearing a clown outfit, just like the outfit that Michael was wearing when he was a young kid at the beginning of the original movie. The 4th film ends the way the 1st film started. Jamie kills her mother. She puts the clown outfit on, is wearing the mask, and she becomes the new killer. But then literally Halloween 5 shows up and retcons that whole ending. what I think what they need to do is they need to make a sequel to Halloween 4 and have there be like a 30, 40-year time jump and have Jamie be the new killer. I think that would be the best course of action, in my opinion, because it would be something different and you could take the franchise in a new way. Because Halloween 4, I think, was one of the best sequels in the franchise, and I'd love to see a proper sequel to it. Like, the original actress who played Jamie, she's, like, in her mid-40s right now. It's like, it's not too late to still do it. She was very disappointed they didn't ask her to be in this trilogy. I wish they had, because she's a great actress, and I think she would have been a great addition to these movies. Like, I think it would have been cool how, like, she could have been, like, an estranged daughter, like Laurie sent her off to be adopted or something because she was too much to handle. I feel like something like that could have been a nice addition to the story, but we'll never know, unfortunately. But I think Jamie being in the trilogy would have been a good thing to do. It was another very wasted opportunity, in my opinion. But to me, I think they need to have Jamie be the new killer and pick up the story from Halloween 4. And this time, do it right. You know, I would love it if they retcon 5 because I just cannot stand 5. You know, I'd love a new timeline where they do Jamie correctly this time. You know, I think Jamie being the new killer was a very excellent idea that we didn't get to see properly. So that would be a great thing to do. And I think the fans, including me, would really enjoy that. But we'll see. So that's going to mark the end of covering the Blumhouse Halloween Trilogy. And it was fun really getting a chance to really go into more detail and get more into my thoughts and how I felt about this trilogy. Now, for any of you guys who do like these movies, you know, I'm not trying to trash talk them or anything. I just wasn't a big fan of them. But if you are, that is perfectly fine, you know. This is just my opinion. I wasn't trying to trash talk them or anything. I was trying to think maybe this one could be more of like my Alien 3 video or recording of me just kind of going on a rant about stuff that just drove me crazy about these films, especially the sequels. But I was just wanting this one to be a little more fun and laid back. I didn't want to do like this deep analysis, you know, of the film. You know, I just wanted to be laid back because I am so mentally exhausted. I have no room right now for very deep thoughts. So doing this more laid back style one was just what I needed, you know. I don't want to do any deep thinking right now, but I think it was really fun getting a chance to finally discuss this trilogy in better detail. I've had this as a topic on my list for a couple of years now, so glad I was finally given a chance to talk about it. But now that the main topic is over, I just want to discuss with you guys here for a few minutes about the future of Tales of Music and Film and what's going to be going on from this point forward. So, it's going to be really hard to continue doing this show for now because I'm not, now just to clarify, I'm not ending it. I am going to continue to do it. The problem is I can't promise you guys on when a new episode is going to be coming out because right now in my life, it's just, you know, I'm in my late 20s. I'm still trying to get things figured out. You know, I'm working 3 jobs now, and I've just been so busy with everything. You know, I don't even have that much of a social life these days. All I do for most of my time is work. I'm trying to make as much money as possible. I'm trying to get my loans paid off. I'm trying to get, you know, trying to get some stuff, trying to, you know, I have to start paying my own car insurance now, you know, and among other things, you know, it's just, things have been getting real complicated, and I'm trying to do the show as much as I can, but I get all these other tasks that need to take priority, so I am going to try to be more frequent with the show. I do apologize that you guys had to wait almost a month for me to get a new episode out. It's just, with how chaotic my schedule has been, it's hard for me to guarantee I'm going to be able to get an episode done every other week. It's just been difficult. But I am very excited to get my next few episodes that I want to do are going to be those guest ones that I had mentioned at the beginning of the recording. So I'm trying my best to be more frequent with the show. But like I said, with my busy schedule right now, it's just going to be really tricky trying to maintain the schedule, but I'm going to do my best. So I have a long list of topics I can't wait to share with you guys. And the show, like, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. A lot of fun underway, way more amazing discussions, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to. So I just wanted to explain to you, like, cause I just want to explain that the episodes and their uploading, it's going to be kind of random here for a while, just with how chaotic my schedule is going. But anyway, that's going to wrap things up. If you guys want to go follow me on Snapchat or on Facebook, you can go do that. Let's see here. You can go find, I do have a fan page set up on Facebook. It's called the Tales of Music and Film fan page. So you can go give that a follow, where you can see me uploading future topics or something. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this recording, and I just want to say thank you for clicking on it. And I hope it gave you some joy, and I hope it made you laugh. I hope you really enjoyed it. If it can add some joy into your day, then I feel that I've done my job very well. So, you guys take care of yourselves. And remember, keep living life to the fullest. Work hard. Earn stuff. Make a good living for yourself. And always remember, no matter what task you are given, make sure to do your very best. Because one day, you are going to surprise yourself, and the right opportunities are going to reveal themselves to you. So, and lastly, I will say, positive energy at all times. No negativity. So, until next time, my name is Christian Taylor, and you are listening to the Tales of Music and Film.